Hey, how's it going? This is Larry Holsey, the Larry Holsey podcast. Excited to be here today and talk to you guys about something really exciting and very important. We're going to be continuing our series on the 17 Principles of Success by Napoleon Hill, or as outlined by Napoleon Hill. And I tell you what, I love Napoleon Hill. Okay. I mean, he is like the OG of success principles. He was the first one to really take all the success principles, compile them into one volume. The book Think and Grow Rich. If you haven't read it already, highly recommend it. In fact, one of my mentors, Jim Rohn, would always every seminar he did, if he was recommending a book, it was he recommended 3 books always in every seminar. Every time you asked him what are the most important books to read, and that was the Bible, number 1. Number 2, maybe not in this order, but I mean, I think he usually said the Bible, number 1. Think and Grow Rich, okay, was on there, and the other one was The Richest Man in Babylon. Okay, which is a fantastic book. If you haven't read it yet, I'm just shutting down some windows here so I don't get, my computer going crazy from too much stuff being open. But anyway, so The Richest Man in Babylon, which is also a great other book. It's by George Clayson. If you haven't read it, okay. So here's when Jim would present this information, he would say that how he was like, I've recommended these books to millions of people. And guess how many went out and got them and read them? Not that many. His best guess was about 10%. And he would always say, why would only 10% when the multimillionaire is on stage telling you these 3 books made the difference for me? Why would only 10% of the people go get the book and read them? I mean, I don't get it. I certainly don't get it. And what Jim would always say is that it's a mystery, and mysteries aren't meant to be figured out. So, we can spend our time, stressing over why aren't they doing it? Why aren't they doing it? Why aren't those other 90% doing the deal? And, or we can just go be a part of the 10% and just make a difference for ourselves. So, what I suggest you do is you walk away from the 90% that don't and become part of the 10% that do, and get the books, study the information. I mean, you wouldn't be watching this if you weren't interested in success, because that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about being a winner, not a whiner. We're talking about being about dominating life, okay? About being the head, not the tail, and really making things happen. So, for those of you guys maybe that haven't heard my story, I've been in my own business. I've been in business for myself since I was 18 years old. I failed out of college when I was 18. Failed 3 classes my first semester. Oh my gosh. I was thinking, what the heck am I going to do with my life? And so anyway, fortunately, my mom introduced me to a unique business opportunity at 18. I started out in the health and nutrition industry, and it's been a fantastic journey. We've got an incredible business. We've got multiple businesses now. But really exciting. So I love talking about winning. Okay. I love talking about winning. And so that's what we're going to do. Today we're talking about the 3rd principle in the 17 principles, and that's applied faith. Okay. Applied faith. So faith, you guys may know in the Bible, it says that faith without works is dead. Okay. And that's true. That's true. Couldn't be anything truer. Faith without works is dead. If you really believe in something, your actions are going to get behind it. Okay. And without that action, the faith dies. Okay. It's dead without the actions behind it. So we're going to talk about faith not in a religious sense, but in relation to winning. Okay. And how to win in life. All right, so that's what we're going to do. So if we talk about applied faith, meaning action behind the faith. So when you have the faith and the belief and the confidence, and then you back it up with action, oh man, nothing can stop you, because you're going to go all the way up. Okay, nothing can stop you. All right. So, all right. So I've got some notes here I'll just be referring to just to keep me on track. As I told you guys before, I have a touch of ADD. I may get all over the place. I may go on all kinds of tangents. Hopefully you're okay with that because that's just how I roll. All right. So applied faith, uh, it's the achievement of a definite major purpose in life through planned action. Okay, so we've talked about definite major purpose was in the first class on this subject. It's the achievement of a definite major purpose in life through planned action. So it takes action. You got to be an action taker. If you're not an action taker, you ain't going nowhere. You're going to stay right where you are. So if you are sitting there today, maybe you're feeling stuck. Maybe you're feeling like you're stuck in the rat race and you just can't get out of the rut and you're falling behind on your bills every month. Maybe that's the case with you. And if it is, it's never going to change unless you take some different actions. Okay. Maybe it's more intensive, the same actions, but quite possibly it's some different actions than you're taking now. And, you're going to have to do some things different or you're going to be stuck forever. Okay. So, all right. So let's look at this. So one thing to note about faith. Okay. So I said I wasn't going to get religious and I'm not, but I do want you to understand that no one has ever reached the state of mind called faith unless they believe in some higher power. Okay. So, and I personally believe in God. I believe in Jesus. And, I don't know what you believe in and you can believe in whatever you want to believe in, but that's that's what I believe in. Okay. And so having faith is a very, it just makes sense to me. Okay. But if someone doesn't have that belief in God or in some higher power, then they're going to have a real tough time getting to that state of applied faith. Okay. It's going to be difficult. Personally, I think it takes more faith to not believe in God than it does to believe in God. So anyway, all right. So let's look at this. So I just want to read this to you. This is pretty interesting. From Napoleon Hill. It says, faith is where you temporarily relax your reason and willpower and open your mind completely to the guidance of infinite intelligence or God to attain the definite purpose. Applied faith is adapting the power received from infinite intelligence or God to a definite purpose. Applied faith is the dynamo of the entire philosophy because it'll give you the power to put the philosophy into action. All right. So awesome. All right. So here we go. So here's what you want to do. Whenever you're talking about having faith, it's important that we control our mind. Okay. You got to control your mind. If you want to win, you got to be able to fix your mind on what you want and hold that thought. You got to hold that thought. You got to have the discipline, the mental toughness, and the mental discipline to hold that thought and not let it waver. Okay. So you focus on what you want, you laser focus on what you want. And whenever those ugly voices come in and speak on your ear that say, Larry, what are you thinking? You can't do that. You can't succeed at that level. You don't know anything. You're just a plumber. You're just a stay-at-home mom. Or what are you thinking? You don't come from, nobody in your family's ever owned a business or ever been successful like that. Who are you to think like that? When those negative voices come, you got to be able to maintain discipline, maintain mental discipline, and keep that thought held firmly in your mind. Okay. And you've got to fight against the negative gravitational pull to pull you down, because you're fighting against gravity when you're trying to go up in life. Okay. So you got to keep it on what you want and you got to keep it off of what you don't want, because it's easy to get when you have bills coming in and stresses like weighing you down and you don't have time because you're working your job and you're trying to do some business on the side. When that's all going on, you've got to be able to maintain discipline and keep your mind off what you don't want, because as the world comes against you, sometimes it'd be real easy, or oftentimes it's real easy to take your mind off what you want and put it on what you don't want. And when you do that, you got issues, because whatever you focus on, that's what you're going to get. Whatever is the dominant thought is what you're going to end up with in your life. Okay. All right. So, all right. So let me give you Napoleon's 3 steps to create the state of mind known as faith. Okay. It's a state of mind. Before I do that, let me have a little swig of my tea here. Good stuff in my American flag cup. I don't know if you guys know it, but I love America. Okay. And I love freedom. I love being free. I love this country. And man, capitalism is great, isn't it? Okay. All right. So 3 steps. All right. Number 1, express a definite desire for the achievement of a purpose and relate it to one or more of the basic motives, which we talked about before. Okay. So express a definite desire. So know what you want. That's what that means. Know what you want. So know what you want and write it down. Okay. That way you're very clear. It's definite because it's written, it's clear, and you know what you want. All right. So number 2, create a definite and specific plan for the attainment of that desire. So number 1 is know what you want, write it down. Number 2 is write a plan. Okay. A specific and definite plan. Now, we talked about this before. If you don't know exactly how you're going to do it. Okay. Maybe you want to be a successful real estate investor. Or you want to be successful in your home-based business or whatever. Okay. And maybe you don't know exactly how you're going to do it, but you can make a plan of action items that can take you closer to that goal. Okay. So maybe you want to be successful. The first step would be get around some successful people that are already in that business. Okay. So in whatever business you're wanting to succeed in or whatever profession, get around some successful people, some people that are already successful in that business and work towards that. Start there. Okay. And learn from those people. Okay. Number 3 is start acting on that plan. Take action. Take action on that plan, putting every conscious effort behind it. Okay. There you go. There's the 3 steps. Know what you want, make it specific, write it down. Number 2, create a definite and specific plan for the attainment of what you want. Number 3, start acting on that plan. Take massive, all-out action. Okay, and do it now. Okay. So, all right. So, let's talk about prayer. Okay, so when you pray, make sure that when you pray, if you're a praying person, okay, make your prayer an expression of gratitude and thanksgiving for the blessings you've already received. Okay. So when you pray to God and you pray about these things that you want, okay, and the Bible says that God gives you the desires of your heart. Okay. And that means he gives you the desires of your heart. All right. Not that he just gives you everything you desire. He gives you the desires of your heart. And then it's your job to work and plan to make them happen. Okay. So when you pray, make your prayer an expression of gratitude, having gratitude and thanksgiving for the blessings you've already received. Okay. So those desires that are in your heart, those things you don't physically have yet, or those states of mind or states of being that you don't physically have yet, be thankful for those things like you already have them. Okay. And that'll give you that'll put you in the right state of mind to receive them. Okay. All right. So, all right. So let's talk about fear. Okay. So it's hard to experience faith whenever you're fearful. In fact, you can't really experience fear and faith at the same time. Well, let me put it this way. Fear actually is faith. It's just faith on the wrong thing. It's faith in you getting what you don't want. It's faith in you not getting where you want to go. Okay. So it's faith in reverse. All right. So you want to banish fear from your mind. All right. I want to go over according to Napoleon Hill, the 7 basic fears that people have. All right. So number 1 is according to Napoleon Hill, the fear of poverty. He said it's the most destructive of all fears, and it's the most difficult to master. So it's something we need to master because you do not want to have the fear of poverty. You don't want fear to rule your life at all. And anyway, okay. And he says this is caused by a few things. Okay. It's caused by 1, a lack of ambition. Okay. So if you have a lack of ambition, some people, believe it or not, think that ambition is bad. Okay. What? Where are these people getting this information? Who are these people? Who thinks ambition is bad? I don't know, but some people think that, and that's just nonsense. That's complete nonsense. Ambition, now, selfish ambition, okay? Ambition only to serve yourself and nobody else. Yeah, heck yeah, man, that's no good. That's not good. You don't want to have selfish ambition so you don't want to have selfish ambition, but ambition can be every great thing we have in our world, every great thing that we've, great human achievement has come from ambition. Okay. So, all right. So it's caused by lack of ambition. Fear of poverty can be caused by lack of ambition. It's also caused by failure to make decisions. Oh my gosh. How many people are so scared to make a decision because they're afraid they're going to make the wrong decision? That's the worst place to be. The worst place to be is on the fence about something. When you're on the fence and you don't know just which way to go, it's no good, man, because you are it's just the worst. If you're sitting on the fence, you got the fence up your crotch here. It's not good. Okay. So you got to make a decision and you got to just get off on one side or the other. And one of my mentors always told me, you need 51% accuracy. You don't have to get every decision right. You got to get 51%. And if you get them right, 51% of the time, you can't be paralyzed by fear of making a bad decision. All right. So failure to make decisions. Number 3, the third reason for the fear of poverty is making excuses for failures. Man, how many people are just the biggest excuse makers on the planet? I mean, here's the deal. You can either win or you can have excuses. So you can get results or you can have excuses. You can't have both. If you're an excuse maker, okay, then you just aren't going to go anywhere. I mean, you're not going to go anywhere in life as an excuse maker. And we all have excuses at different level and have all made different excuses. But at some level, you can do that. But man, you need to get rid of excuses from your life. So here's the deal. One of my other mentors, her name is Danny Johnson, incredible lady. Love to have her on here sometime. I'd like to interview her. But she's an awesome example of a successful businesswoman who's done some crazy, crazy things. But her and her husband Hans are great. But she says that an excuse is just a well-planned lie. An excuse is just a well-planned lie. And I believe that's true. It's when you're making an excuse, you're just coming up with something to make yourself not look bad. Okay. All right. So next thing is next cause of the fear of poverty is finding fault. Being a fault finder. And man, some people, they're making a national pastime of finding fault. That's all they can do. In fact, I got some people in my business. We have a lot of people in our business. We have a large team. And some of the guys that you just see not moving up like some of the others, okay? And the ones that aren't moving up, they're oftentimes the fault finders. The guys that just can't, they just always have to find the dark side of the coin, the dark side of the moon, the flip side that's just whatever the negative is. They just can't seem to look at things positive. And some people can put on a good front and they talk like they're positive, but when you really talk to them, you can tell they're not really positive. They're really still finding fault. A lot of them are looking at other successful people that they're jealous of, and they're finding faults in those people that have, surpassed them in success, and they are looking for the faults in that successful person. Like, oh, well, that person did this or did that, and I don't agree with that. And they're using that as making an excuse for why they're not going for it. And that's just weak. That is weak. And if you're going to be weak, you ain't going to win. That's it. All right. So don't be a fault finder. Okay. And that would be very closely associated with the next reason, which is having a negative mental attitude. Okay. So we want to have a positive mental attitude. And then the last one he has here of the 6 reasons for the fear of poverty is putting things off or procrastination. Now, listen, I got it. I'm a master procrastinator. We all procrastinate at some level, but you got to master this at some level if you're ever going to move forward in life. Okay. And yeah, anyway, so we've all procrastinated. So I'm not like throwing any stones on that one for sure. Okay. All right. So let's go to the next. Well, okay. Here's in closing about poverty. Napoleon says that the fear of poverty is a state of mind, and only you have the power to control your state of mind. Okay, all right. Number two, the fear of criticism. Man, how many people are afraid of getting criticized these days? Sorry, I guess my phone's ringing here. All right. So, how many people are afraid of getting criticized? So many people. They're scared of what people are going to say about them, what they think about them, and that'll keep them from, going for it. Okay. And here's the deal: you shouldn't be making any decisions based on anybody's opinion of you unless you're willing to trade places with them. Okay. Or even if you're no, don't even do that. Okay. You should be making decisions based on what you think is right, based on, intelligent, getting all the information and making your own decisions. Okay. All right. So, okay, here we go. Next one, number 3, third fear, the fear of ill health. Okay. So 3 things that should be considered when analyzing yourself for the fear of ill health. Okay. Well, just quoting from Napoleon Hill here, it says there's overwhelming evidence that a disease can originate as a negative thought, which the person continues to sell to himself until through autosuggestion, physical symptoms actually appear. Most doctors now agree that there's a definite relation between the patient's mental attitude and his physical condition. Okay, so next is, okay, so things that you should should consider when you're analyzing yourself for the fear of ill health. He says, 1, the drugstore habit, okay, or taking drugs for your issues. Okay, so let's say you can't sleep, or you have you're feeling anxious, or you're feeling whatever. Man, dude, take some good nutrition. Change your nutrition. Eat something healthy. Quit eating Twinkies and bonbons. Okay, quit eating all junk food and fast food. Get outside. Get outside. Move your body. Okay, get some fresh air. There's all kinds of things that you can do to be healthier, be stronger, and you should take care of your health. Okay, so number 2 thing he pointed out that you want to think about is self-pity. Okay, self-pity ain't taking you nowhere, and that's going to make your health worse if you're just sitting around in self-pity. Number 3 is drinking. Okay, he said drinking or intemperance destroys sound health habits. So if you're drinking a lot, you're not in your right mind. It makes you make bad health. Next fear is the fear of the loss of love. And man, isn't that true? That's probably actually everybody's greatest fear. Like that people believe that they're not going to be enough, and they're not going to be enough for whatever. And if they're not enough, that they're not going to be loved. I'd say that's probably the greatest fear, even more than the fear of poverty, but not according to Napoleon Hill. Okay. All right. So number 5 is the fear of old age, which is interesting because it could, he said the worst part of the fear of old age is that it has a tendency to slow you down and cause you to have a feeling of inferiority just at a time when you are actually in your best years. Be sure, because whenever you age, the highest money-making years for most very successful people is between like 50 and 70. So pretty wild. All right. So you make sure you rock it. All right. I'm 47 now. So, all right. So number 6 is the fear of the loss of liberty. Wow. Okay. Well, that is a valid fear. And we really need to make sure that we maintain all of our liberties in this great country, this great nation that has changed the face of the world, that's done more good than any other country on the planet. There are people that would love to see us lose our freedom. And we've lost a lot of freedom over the last few years. And we got to stand for it. We got to stand for our freedom. And we won't get too far into that now. I don't want to get banned on my first few podcasts. So, all right, number 7 is the fear of death. Okay. So, I don't fear death. Okay. Because I know where I'm going. I know what's happening when I die. And I hope you do too. And therefore I have nothing to fear. Okay. So fear of death can really drive some people crazy. All right. But okay. So let's see here. Now let's talk about temporary defeat. Everybody is going to experience defeat or failure, quote unquote failure. Okay. So failure is a part of success. Without failure, you can't truly succeed. And there's actually no way to fail if you just don't quit. Okay. If you just keep going. All right. And so here is, let me just read you this little part from Napoleon. It says, when you do make up your mind to do something definite, adversities will come along to prevent you from being successful if they can. They are simply testing your faith. See you later. Love you too. All right. So they're simply testing your faith. When such temporary defeats come, accept them as inspirations for greater effort and determination on your part. Carry on with the belief that you will succeed because you deserve to succeed. So important. All right. Okay. So, all right. A couple last things here that I'll lay on you, and we're going to wrap it up because I've got a call I got to be on here in a few minutes. But we are what we are and where we are because of the dominating thoughts we have permitted to dwell in our minds. Oh my gosh, bro. That's a mic drop. That's a mic drop right there. We are what we are. We are what we are and where we are because of the dominating thoughts we have permitted to dwell in our minds. Bro, control your thoughts. Stand guard at the door of your mind and don't let any bad thoughts in. Don't let any thoughts in on the things that you don't want. Keep your mind focused on what you do want, what you want. All right. Okay. It says, give no quarter to procrastination. So don't let procrastination sit in. Okay. So a couple last points here. Recognize that everything worth having has a definite price tag on it. The price of self-reliance is eternal vigilance in carrying out instructions. Your watchword must be persistency. Definiteness of purpose continually pursued will cure anyone of laziness. All right. That's a great spot to end there. Thank you guys for listening to my podcast. I appreciate it. I'd love it if you could, share this with your friends. If you found some value, share it with people. Certainly like and subscribe on our YouTube channel and on all of the places that you get your podcasts, our YouTube channel at Larry Holsey. And we are excited that you're going on this journey with us. And I hope I provide some value. That's what I'm trying to do here. And we'll talk to you guys in the next round. Okay. Have a great day.